आज की इस वीडियो में हम डिस्कस करेंगे एस्टिमेशन के हवाले से। एस्टिमेशन इज द गोल ऑफ इंफरेंशियल स्टैटिस्टिक्स। We use same values to estimate population values. It is important that the sample values estimators be unbiased. An unbiased estimator of a parameter is one whose average over all possible random samples of the given size equals the value of the parameter. While X is an unbiased estimator of S square is not an unbiased estimator of X square. In order to make it an unbiased estimator, we use n1, n negative 1 in the denominator of the formula rather than n just as. Sample variance is equal to x square sigma x minus x bar square divided by n minus 1. Note that this is a defining formula and as we will see below is not the best choice when actually doing the calculations. Overall examples. Let us reconsider an example from the above of two distributions A and B. Note that the central tendency and range of two distributions are the same. That is the mean, median and mode all equal 100 for both distributions and the range is 101 for both distributions. However, while distributions A and B have the same measures of central tendency and the same range, they differ in their variability. Distribution A has more of it. Let us prove this by computing the standard deviation in each case. First, for distribution A, planning the test. One essential step in planning a test is to decide why you are giving the test. कि आप टेस्ट जो है वो किस लिए ले रहे हैं. The word test is used although we are using it in a broad sense that includes performance assessments as well as traditional paper and pencil test. Are you trying to start the students so you can compare them, giving higher scores to better students and lower scores to poor students? If so, you will want to include some difficult questions that you accept only a fewer of better students will be able to answer correctly. Or do you want to know how many of the students have mastered the content? If your purpose is that you have no need to distribute the scarce, so very difficult questions are unnecessary. You will, however, have to decide how many correct answers are needed to demonstrate mastery. Another way to address the why question is to identify if this is to be formative assessment to help you diagnose student problems and guide future instructions, or a summative measure to determine grades that will be reported to parents. Erations in 1994 lists 6 decisions usually made by the classroom teachers in the test development process. Number 1, what to test. Test क्या है? How much emphasizes to give the various objectives. What type of assessment or type of questions to use. How much time to allocate for the assessment. How to prepare the students and whether to use the test from the textbook publisher or to create your own. Other decisions such as whether to use a separate answer sheet arise later. You as the teacher decide what to assess. The term assess is used here because the term assess is frequently associated only with traditional paper and pencil assessment, to the exclusion of alternative assessments such as performance tasks and portfolios. Classroom assessments are generally focused on the content that has been covered in the class, either in the immediate past or, as in the case with unit, semester and end of the course test, over a long period of time. For example, if we are constructing a test for pre-service teachers on writing test questions, we might have the following objectives. Planning the test, the student will know the advantages and disadvantages of the major selection type of questions, be able to differentiate between well and purely written selection type questions, be able to construct appropriate selection type questions using the guidelines and rules that were presented in class. We would have listed only topics we have covered, example true false questions, short answer questions, multiple choice questions, and test format instead of the objectives. Now that we have made that what decision, we can move to next step, deciding how much emphasis to place on each objective. हर ऑब्जेक्टिव पे आपने कितना जोर देना है इसके बारे में आपने डिसाइड करना है. वी कैन टुक एट द अमाउंट ऑफ टाइम इन क्लास वी हैव डिवोटेड टू ईच ऑब्जेक्टिव, और हमने फिर देखना है कि वो जो ऑब्जेक्टिव है उसको क्लास के अंदर हमने कितना टाइम दिया है. वी कैन आल्सो रिव्यू द नंबर्स एंड टाइप्स ऑफ असाइनमेंट्स द स्टूडेंट हैव बीन गिवन. हमने ये भी देखना है कि हमने कितनी और किस किस्म के असाइनमेंट स्टूडेंट को दी थी. फॉर एग्जांपल लेट अस अस्यूम, जैसा कि फ़र्ज़ करते हैं, डैट 20% ऑफ द असेसमेंट विल बी बेस्ड ऑन नोइंग, कि असेसमेंट जो है वो 20% नोइंग पे है. एडवांटेजेस एंड डिसएडवांटेजेस 40% विल बी डिफ्रेंशिएटिंग बिटवीन वेल रिटन एंड पुअरली रिटन क्वेश्चंस. 40% जो है वो अच्छे लिखे हुए क्वेश्चंस और पुअर लिखे हुए क्वेश्चन जो हैं उस पर होगा. एंड अदर 40% विल बी ऑन राइटिंग गुड क्वेश्चंस, और 40% जो अच्छे सवालात लिखने पे होगा. नाउ planning can be illustrated with the use of table of specification, also called a test plan or test blueprint, as shown in the below. टेबल ऑफ स्पेसिफिकेशन को हम क्या कहते हैं, टेस्ट प्लान भी कहते हैं और टेस्ट ब्लूप्रिंट भी कहते हैं.